Hi, everybody. Bob here, and today we are taking a look at a watch brand out of New Zealand, Drakan Watches. They've been around a little while now and have built up a catalog of watches that kind of fall into that category of tooly slash purpose built watches. Some of my favorite types of watches, actually. The watch I have in today is one of their newer releases, the Kruger Chronograph. This is a prototype, and there is a couple of quirks with the watch that will be addressed on the production models, but otherwise really impressed with it. So let's get straight to it and take a look at the watch. All right, so I actually have two versions of the watch today. I have this white dial, which is a fully loomed dial. There's also the black dial version. I left it in the box for now, and I just want to do kind of a little mini unboxing to show you how these come out. There is also a Panda dial version of the watch, and all three come in either titanium or a DLC coated titanium. So 6 options in total. The watches will come out in a pine outer box. It's a branded box. Little rope handle there. And inside we have this pouch, the Kruger patch and the rhino. And inside the pouch is a pull tab where we have our watch and a spare strap. Now, I was speaking with the owner. He did mention the spare strap may be different than what I have here, but an extra strap is always good. If you don't care about the packaging or the pouch, you can actually opt for compostable packaging when you order, which saves you a little over 10 USD if you prefer. One great thing that the company is doing is 7% of all profits from this watch will be going to a wildlife ranger sponsorship program in association with ATS, anti-poaching and tracking specialists that work out of the Kruger National Park in South Africa, as well as other parks throughout Africa. It's kind of a coincidence, and it was one of the reasons I was really drawn to these watches, but the first ever videos on this channel were from a trip my wife and I had taken to Kruger, and it was an amazing trip. Someday I'd like to re-edit those videos because they are horrible, so please don't feel the need to go back and check them out, but it's cool that Draken is doing their part to help out there. Now, one of the goals for Draken was to create a robust and legible chronograph, which isn't always an easy task. Legibility a lot of times suffers with chronographs, but not here at all. The contrasting black hands and markers against white, or the white against black with this model, is very easy to read. Getting the time and reading the subdials is a total breeze with these. The print work on the dial is kept to a minimum with the company logo and Draken printed up top. The markers are printed on quite heavily, so they get a bit of a three-dimensional look. Running the watch is the Seiko VK67 Mecha Quartz movement, which gives us a date at 6 with the running seconds. Just above that, we will fire up the chronograph here, and I'm glad they gave the second hand a bit of color with that blue. Over at the 9 is the minutes counter for the chronograph function, and at 3 is the time in 24 hours. It's good that they made those subdials slightly sunken into the dial too. It adds some visual interest and keeps the dial from maybe being a little too bland. Just stop and reset the chronograph here. The white dial is fully loomed. It's decent, but not the greatest. Again, with this being a prototype, that may be improved on with the final product. I find the black dial version is better. Both do the trick for reading the time in low light, though, as is. And as a bonus, the screw-down crown is also loomed with the company logo. The bezel is a 120-click unidirectional bezel with a matte ceramic insert, and so glad that they went with the matte finish. Now, on these prototypes, the bezel action is a little funny. I'm not even really sure the best way to describe it, but it kind of has a little bit of that Seiko dive bezel action, but a little bit clickier, but just weird. It feels a little off. I actually don't mind it, but the owners plan to adjust that for the production models. As far as usability goes, the cog-like grips are very easy to manipulate. Again, that black matte bezel insert was the way to go, especially with a Thule watch like this. So I'm interested to see on the production models how that bezel action will end up being. The case and bracelet are made with titanium and have a hardness coating that brings the hardness up to 1200 Vickers. The DLC versions of the watch increase the scratch resistance even further and are 1700 Vickers. These two watches have made the rounds to several different reviewers now, and they've held up very well. I noticed one mark on one of the links on the bracelet. I don't even see it here now on this white one, but otherwise they're spotless. One thing I'm not usually crazy about is brand names on case sides, but with this being bead blasted, it's pretty subtle. The case design itself is very angular and just suits the overall tool watch look. The screw down case back has some really nice artwork there. It's a very deep pressing of a rhino, and that's one of the nicer case backs I've seen in a while. So good little detail with that. While we're looking at the case back, the bracelet does have quick release. Some of these types of quick release I struggle with and even need a tool still to remove the bracelets, but the little pegs come out a little further on this one, and there's no problems getting a hold of them to remove the bracelet at all. The bracelet is a 3-link bracelet, very solid feeling bracelet. It is bead blasted like the rest of the watch. We have got screwed links for easy sizing, and the clasp feels well put together and has a total of 7 micro adjusts. Size on the watch comes in at 42.9 millimeters in case width. The lug to lug is 49.2 millimeters. Lug opening is 22 millimeters, and the thickness is 14.5 millimeters, including the slightly domed sapphire. The sapphire is treated with 10 layers of anti-reflective coating, and the water resistance is a massive 300 meters. And here is the white version on my 7.25-inch wrist, and I think it wears great. It is a bit of a chunky watch, but it just works really well, I find. Cost on these, if you're pre-ordering now, is $577 New Zealand dollars for the non-DLC, which is about $390 USD, and $628 for the DLC, which is right around $430 USD, and they're expected to ship in July. Draken actually has another new release coming out very soon, and that's on the way to me. It's going to be here literally any day now, so looking forward to seeing that. So you're going to see another video on Drakan Watches here in the next week or two, but that is it for today. Definitely a brand to keep an eye on. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. Okay, so this is the day after filming the video you've just been watching. I was editing that video, and look what just showed up. The new watch from Draken. So I thought I would do just a fun little bonus unboxing. This is going to be very quick, and we will do a follow-up video on this watch soon. So let's dig right in here. Bob, thanks in advance for your help and support. Mike, thank you, Mike. This came a little quicker than... Whoa! New Zealand. Whitaker's Coffee Supreme Flat White Chocolate. Oh, man. That looks so good. Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate that. Some notes on the watch. Ah, we've got a little bit of a different colored pouch. I believe these are called a mole pouch. I'm curious if this is a prototype, if maybe there will be a patch like we had on the Kruger on this eventually. But let's see what we got. Look at that. This is called I think it's the Tegula GMT, and I believe they have a diver already, so this is kind of a GMT version of the watch. Same as last time, we have a spare strap there, which looks like an awesome combo for this watch. Man. Being a big fan of brands like Zinn and Damasco, those types of watches, these watches are right up my alley. Let's get in here for a bit of a closer look. Nice bezel action. Got a feeling this is going to be a loom monster, but we will see. We'll save that for another video. Okay, so that's it, guys. This has gone on long enough. Keep an eye out for the follow-up video to this watch coming very soon. Thanks so much for stopping by.